for tuning in with me today. If this is your first time joining me, I'm Vera from Vera Craft, the Borneo Island of Malaysia. I conduct cake decorating workshops internationally and also have my online classes as well. You may always see more of my creation on Vera Craft Studio, my official Facebook page and Instagram as well. Today, we'll be working with something pretty unique and not too hard, quite simple but pretty unique. It's the idea of piping in between tiers. So it means that, like, for example, it can be 2-tiered, 3-tiered or 4-tiered cake, like more tiered. You can incorporate yourself with the design into your tiered cakes to create like occasional cake, good for celebrations and quite unique, okay? So it's like I'll teach you like foliage and like an open blooming flower, some leaves and amaranthus. Then we learn how to pipe directly onto the cake in between tiers. So the idea is really like in between tiers. For example, regardless what size, what shape of your cake, it can be like a 2-tiered, round or more, 3. The idea is to pipe in between here. We can have 2 squares or maybe like a square and a round. We pipe around here, but maybe not necessarily all around. You can do like just front and back of it, like the designs, or some odd shapes like this pretty fun one, cone shape wave on a 6-inch round, or like what I'm doing today, a shorter 6-inch round with a cone shape on the top. Or you can, like, you know, mix around and play around with that. And I would say it's really fun. And the one that the shape that I choose today is the most odd or fun one, I would say. I just want to show you guys how the effect look on this weird shaped cake. Okay, so this is a cone shaped dummy on a 6-inch round that's only like 1 to 2 inches thick. Okay, but then we'll pipe directly on this cake here, showing you how to make all these flowers, foliage, leaves and like little fillers like amaranthus. It works exactly the same when you pipe directly onto any shape, any design, and you may play around with colors, different kind of colors, create different effects and finishing on your cake. So I hope these tips today will contribute you a little bit in your buttercream fun and cake design. And now, let's get started! Okay, so now the first one we'll start with is the foliage. So today we're learning 2 types of foliage. One is the rattan one with some tiny flower buds on, one is the amaranthus. So let's start with the first one. We will need 3 colors, dark brown, and either dark purple, blue. Actually, this one is the flower buds. You can change into any color, pink, whichever that suits your theme, okay? And then another brighter color like bright yellow or egg yellow, lighter pink, even white, so to match your color scheme. Okay, so let's start one. We will start with the brown color. Remember to tighten your bag well and to have maintain like a steady strength and pressure while squeezing your piping bag. So what you can always use a hand, like of another finger, to support the tip of the piping bag to help you squeeze a more steady and firmer lines. So maintain a steady pressure. We want to make lines, whichever curvy that you want, like don't make it too straight, a little bit curved, something like this. Okay, there is no specific like design on this one because the idea is we will do it in between our tier, right? So it really depends on how well you want them to like crawl onto the side of the upper tier cake. Okay, so this is one. Then the flower petal. Yeah, so I forgot to mention, just now this one I'm using tip number 1.5, so for the brown one. And the second one, The blue color one, I'm using tip 101. Okay, it's like a small water drop shape piping tip. So the fatter part should always be at the bottom part, and the sharper ends should be at the top part. Okay, that's how we use this piping tip. So hold it firmly and with a steady pressure as well. Remember, the sharper edge is at the upper part. Okay, so what we want to do now is to squeeze like just a tiny petal down. Okay, and then the second one, we want to squeeze on the side of the first one, squeeze and pull downwards. And then the third one, something like this, okay? Now let's do a close-up view on this one and I do it again. Okay, and the second one, same thing we want to do. We can do a second but below the first one. Just squeeze a small one, move away on the side of it, another one. Okay, let me show you one individual one here. So the idea is just like this. Okay, I touch my base of the tip on the board or on the cake. Just squeeze and let go on the side of it, squeeze and let go the other side. So you can make either 1 or 2. Okay, so I have 2 here. Upper one I can make like only 2. Okay, and like underneath it I can make just 1, maybe 2. I have 1, 2 here and a bigger one with 3 petals here. Okay, this is the idea. And then we change to another round, another color. This is Coral piping tip number 5. So it's a round piping tip, bigger than the brown one that we used earlier. So we just want to add some details on this. So on the bottom of the petals, we want to add like a few round dots around it. Okay. Squeeze, let go of your string and remove, making round tiny dots. Okay, this is to add extra details. It can be 2 or 3 or even 1. Remember not to be too systematic because it will be not as natural. Something like this. Okay, so this is our first foliage for today. As I said earlier, you can change it to different kind of colors. You can even do them all in one color. It looks good as well. So yes, so next we will want to pipe them directly onto our cake using the same skills and piping tips that we are using just now. Okay, so now we pipe onto the cake. So same thing, we start with the brown color. So squeeze, use your hand to like support you a little bit. Squeeze and move downwards. Okay, can do a few. If you want to connect them, you may as well, something like this. Okay, or if you want them to be a short one just by itself, or a longer one. Okay, a few examples. Okay, and then our tip 101. Remember the fatter part of the tip at the bottom, and then we want to squeeze and move downwards. Okay, a small one, squeeze downwards. You can do 3, you can do 2. Okay, it's really like up to you. Some 1, some 2. Over here, let me do 2, and maybe just 1 small one underneath. This one I can do like 3 of them, like a bit wiggly here, not as perfect. The wiggly ugly part here, I should just cover them up with petals as well. Okay, something like this. It's really quick and easy, right? Actually, you just need some practice. Once you get the hell, like get a good go of it, it's really easy to work and a quick decoration on your cake. So same, the yellow one, tip number 5. Few round dots around them. Some can have 1. Some have 2, okay? Like random bits, just add colors. Something like this, okay? Isn't the color like bright and lovely? Okay, there we go. So this is the first foliage that we'll be using. Sometimes I also like to add a little bit of extra details. I'm using just pure white color with tip number 1. Just some extra dots at the end of the foliage, just to give it like give like extra details and like tiny, add more delicate effects onto your project. There you go. So there we have our first foliage done, and we'll take a short break right now. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes, so don't walk away.
Hi, it's Vera from Vera Malaysia. I'm from the Borneo Island and are well known for my buttercream cakes, especially floral cakes. And I enjoy cake paintings too. To check out more of my creations, kindly visit Vera Craft Facebook page or Instagram. If you love flowers, art, and love eating cakes like I do, join me internationally for my cake decorating hands-on workshops and online classes. Also, don't miss out our show Edible Art Wonderland on Cakeflix TV. Don't be shy to drop me an email for any workshop enquiries.
Welcome back to Edible Art Wonderland, and now we'll proceed to the second foliage where we'll be piping amaranthus. Amaranthus is like a plant that is made from tiny round piping tip. It can be number 1, number 1.5, or if you want to do bigger amaranthus, you can do even bigger rounds like number 4, number 5, something like this. I'll show you 2 types so that you can see like which sample that you like most and you can apply onto your design. It's usually around green color, so like different types of green or yellowish color or like egg yellow and light yellow color, but mostly me personally I like it in light green or darker green. Okay, but today I have like 3 different colors here. I just want to show you the different effect it will have on it. So now let's get started on the piping part. So the second foliage, the amaranthus. I will be showing you 3 different piping tip of different colors. Okay, it's 2 same tip but 1 bigger tip and 3 different colors to show you the different effect. So the idea is we want to pipe a guideline first, like the shape where you want them to go, for example like this, and then we want to squeeze lots of tiny balls, like, and we always start with bigger balls. Okay, something like this. Start with bigger balls, and then as you go towards the bottom part of your guideline, you want to try to go smaller as you can. Okay, so this is not thick enough. We want to add more balls at the starting part of this amaranthus plant. And as I'm going down, I want to make it smaller. Doing a second layer here, so it creates a more 3D effect. Something like this. Okay, this tiny little like extra details actually adds more delicateness or like more detail to your work. Okay, it's what that to me it makes it stand out from others. Okay, so this is a smaller version. If you use tip number 5, the same piping tip that we used for the first foliage earlier, egg yellow color. Same thing, draw like a guideline for yourself to see like where you want to go. If you want it very round, you can do it like even more curvy one like this, for example. And then just pipe like tiny balls all around your guideline. Okay, the idea is just using a bigger piping tip creates a bigger amaranthus arrangement. And then as far as you go, you want to start to get smaller and smaller. You can even slightly split apart from your guidelines. Okay, something like this. Usually I love my starting part here to be more wide, like rounder. And there we go. Something like this, okay? So the other color will be almost the same thing, or sometimes I use them to add on different colors in one of my same amaranthus. So there's like different color schemes. Sometimes I use yellows or sometimes I use white. Okay, just to add some different effects. Or this is also tip number 1, which is the same tip as the green one. You can also do this exactly the same thing as well. We'll do that directly onto the cake later, okay? So this is just some idea on how amaranthus works, bigger or smaller one. Me personally, I prefer the smaller one. It's more work of course because it's smaller, but I just think it's more delicate than the bigger ones. So now we will put them directly onto the cake and show you how it looks like on the cake. And now let's pipe the amaranthus on here. I'll start with the green one. So I should make a guideline, like where I want my amaranthus to go, something like this. And then just pipe lots of rounds. Remember, you should start with the bigger rounds. And then the starting part should be always thicker, and then slowly you go smaller and smaller and lesser balls. And then you can spread it around, something like this. Now let me do another one, like climbing upwards, okay? Same thing, we want to make a mark first so you know where your amaranthus should climb. And then bigger balls at the bottom. Split out like this, so you can make a few more. There you go. So you can do a few more like around here. If you realize, I always do the amaranthus first, or like the design that's like far at the back, because those are the one that you want to do first before you put on the flowers that's in front. Okay, as I said earlier, it can be any color. This is to add those delicate piping to your project. Okay, this is a few. If you want, you can add a few yellow dots like what we did at the sample earlier. Or you can make this into like a whole yellow bunch of color, or lighter green or other color, okay? Just a few example like this. So if you see this one, the one that I made earlier, I do it in a yellowish green color, and I'm using a bigger piping tip, tip number 5, the one that we have an example of the egg yellow tip earlier. Okay, so this is a bigger one example, and this is the smaller one. So it depends on which one you like it most. And yes, this is our sample. Okay, so we are done with the second foliage, which is the amaranthus. It's a really good filler to use in not just in this kind of cake design, any buttercream cake design with any other flowers that if you already know how to make. Amaranthus foliage is always one of my favorite. Okay, so I hope that benefits you as well. And next, we'll be making the leaves. Okay, we'll start learning how to paint the leaves, then the flower, just right after the break. Don't walk away! Welcome back to Edible Wonderland! So now the next one we'll be making the more exciting one. We'll start making leaves. So these leaves here, I'm not using the usual leaf piping tip. I'm teaching you the proper leaf piping skills. We'll be using tip number 103 and I make my buttercream into darker green color. So to know more about my coloring technique, remember to watch the replay of Edible Art Wonderland like episode 1 or 2. We talk more about what types of coloring to be used and my temperature method to create dark buttercream color. Okay, so now let's get started on piping leaves on the sample first, then onto the cake. So this piping tip 103 is also like a water droplet shape. Remember always the fatter part of the tip is at the bottom and the sharper part of the end is at the top. Okay, so there's a movement of this leaf here when I watch closely. So I lay my piping tip like down onto the board and then I want to squeeze. So I want to squeeze and move forward, and then I want to kind of do a U-turn. So I turn 180 degrees and squeeze backwards. Okay, I repeat again. Did you catch me just now? So kind of do like this movement all around 180 degrees. So I call it a U-turn. Squeeze up, go straight, and then if you think it's long enough, you do the U-turn and come back. You can do really long or like a really short one. Okay, the idea is do not leave any gaps in between. Let me do an example. So the wrongdoing one is I go out straight and then I leave a gap in the center like this. Okay, this one you have a broken leaves. Okay, for example, I go up so all the way straight and then I leave like this. Okay, this is wrong. So try to merge the center part here and stick them together. Okay, so I go up and then when I come back, turn 180 degrees first and then stick the center part all the way back. So like I'm touching this base here with the other base. Okay, last one before we go directly onto the cake. Just one last one. I'm going out straight as far as I can, and then when I want to stop, I just turn like 180 degrees and come back. There you go. So this is our leaves. So now we will do it onto the cake. Let's go! Okay, so directly onto the cake. So want to do a U-turn movement where you go straight up, and then as long as you want, you can start turning 180 degree and move all the way down. Remember, sticking the center part. Okay, it's a bit awkward to do it this way, but you just wanna give it a go and try. Let's do another one. Go up straight, and then turn and move backwards, downwards. Okay, and there we go. We have 2 leaves there. Maybe in another side here, let's do a few shorter one, like maybe here. Okay, I want you to be able to see it better. Like this, and turn your hand while you go down straight. Okay, isn't that natural? And for the bottom part, same movement as well. Okay, you want to do the same thing. Let me see. Okay, here. Same movement as well, just move outwards. And then you can turn your cake a bit and move backwards a bit. Okay, something like this. This side, I will do more on here. If you can see it properly. Same movement going outwards. And then squeeze backwards. Okay, another one, the second one underneath. There you go. Let's do a short one, like coming upwards here. So when working piping directly onto the cake, you really want to move around a lot because you need to see like how it can like finish the piping onto your cake. Let's do one up here. Squeeze all the way up, turn 90 degree and squeeze all the way down. Okay, another one here. You can always keep on going, keep on going. Okay, there you go. So how did you like this leaf? And I'm trying to do a double layered one, a shorter one this time. Top and move backwards down. Okay, so this is our leaf pipings. So now we have all the backgrounds ready. Later we'll pipe our flower onto these gaps right here. Okay? Okay, so now we have the leaves all ready. Together with all the other foliage, the one at the background, we have all them piped and ready for the most exciting bit, the flower. We're making a widely blooming open flower today. So just before that, we'll take a short break again and I'll be right back with you. Welcome back to Edible Wonderland! Now, the most fun part of all, the flower. I call this like an open peony, so it's like a widely open blooming peony already. The most important tip for peony is tip number 1, 2, 3. Okay, it can be any color like flower color, pink, peach, like I have here a mixture of pink and orange to make this peach color, or the one that's on the cake is a dusky pink. You can use sugar flavored dusky pink, or you can mix pink with a little bit of green to achieve this kind of dirty pink color. Okay, so I will demonstrate to you using the brighter color one. And we need 2 piping tips because we need the inner part of the flower. The inner part of the flower is piping tip number 1. It can be green, yellow, or brown color. Either one works. It depends on which one you like better and what kind of effect you want to achieve on your cake. And now let's start the piping bits. So this tip here, it's like a curvy one. For left-handed, you might want to find like 1, 2, 3, the left-hand side one, so they curve the other way around, the opposite way. Okay, I'm a right-handed, so it's like a moon crescent shape, I would say. Okay, so there's like a fatter part and a sharper part as well. Same thing, the fatter part at the bottom, the sharper part at the top. Okay, so hold your piping bag well. We want to start by learning how to pipe a petal first. Okay, so to pipe a petal, hold this like leaning downwards, and then you want to remember how we do the movement for the leaf. Same thing, we want to do that movement but with a bit of shaky movement. So let me demonstrate one first. So squeeze, push up, down, kind of like a shaky movement, and turn as I go. Okay, another one, showing you another one, shaky. So I did a bit of like, you know, like an M shape drawing. So up, in and out, in and out, like this, something like this. Okay, so this is the petal of the widely open peony. You can even go smaller, like this, or you can go slightly bigger one, like this. Okay, that's the idea. So when we pipe barrel into the cake, you need to move around your hand to create a lot of different angle to make a flower. So I will be moving this board instead. Okay, so let's do one full flower first. So I start with the first petal. Okay, and then you move your hand a bit and repeat the second petal, and then the third petal. So just repeating the same movement. The fourth petal. Okay, of course this is like I'm practicing on the board, so we can turn the board later. I'll show you how we do it directly on the cake. So one whole round, something like this, is the first layer. Okay, and then we want to do the second layer. Same thing, in between them, like just add on a second layer so that we can cover up this hole over here. Okay, and the last one, I'll do it like this angle. That's how we usually do it on the cake. We need to turn our hand angle instead of turning the cake, right? So we have something like this. And then we want to add on the center part. So we can choose either green, brown, or yellow. Let's do the green one. So we just want to squeeze. Give it just this a bit. Okay. We want to squeeze and pull. Squeeze and pull. Squeeze and pull, and repeat. Remember, the bottom part of this should be fatter so that it holds and stands firmly. Squeeze at the bottom part fatter and then pull at the same time. Okay, and there you go. This is one of our open flower. Okay, so now we'll proceed on directly onto the cake and show you how it works on the cake. Okay. So to pipe directly onto the cake, we need to do a little bit changes from what we've done on the sample. The difference is that because there is this straight 90 degrees angle here, where if you try to put petals on, your flower will look like this, like really deep. So the center part here, we want to squeeze a base, okay, just something like this, just to fill up the 90 degree angle. And then you can start your petals widely. So like this. Slowly move outwards. Can you see properly? Let me do it this way. Same movement, remember. Okay. Peony, like usually they have short petals and gaps in between, so you don't have to stick them all together. Okay, this is a bit awkward for me. Let me try to see which angle I can do it for you to show you guys. Okay, maybe here. I'll just do this petal here and show you. Okay, I just did these two petals. Okay, that's like the same method. Okay, just move around your hand like the hand angle. And then you move forwards to the second layer. As you go inwards, you try to move this piping tip closer, like close the angle more. So when I start at this angle. When I do the second layer, I tend to turn my piping tip like the curve inwards a little bit, okay? But then still the same movement. Let me show you closer. Can you see? This. I'm sure it's not as difficult as it seems because I need to get away the camera angle to show you. Okay, if not, it's easier for you to move around. Okay, and then last part, you want to try to make the center part smaller round. Okay, so because now it's like quite wide angle, right? We want to smaller, like reduce the space in the center by adding a few more petals. Slowly adding in an upside down one. There we go, okay? And then you want to add the green bits. Of course you can do brown or yellow, like as you like. You just want to squeeze and do a squeeze and pull movement like this. Can you see that? Squeeze and pull movement. Okay, so that is one flower. Let me do another one. Just using the same color. Do another one next to it. So usually I will start with the one that's like closer to the flower, to the first flower that you've done. Okay, jiggle jiggle. You see that? Oh, don't forget to add the base so that it helps us bring up the flower more. Okay, and then just keep going. It's really awkward, this position for me. But okay, let's manage that. And then shake every petals. So whenever your piping tip gets dirty, just don't forget to wipe it down and continue. So this way, jiggle up and go. And then I think that's good enough for the first layer. Let's add a second layer. Let me do one petal first. This angle is really ta-da! Okay, this one that I just added. And then we continue. Clean my piping tip. it looks. So another green one for the center part, squeeze and pull. Squeeze and pull. And there we go, we have both of our flowers done. So at this stage, if you still want to add back any more of the amaranthus, we can still do as well. Places like here, if you want, we can always add more. Okay. Only the amaranthus is the one that I will decide to add. I'll add both before and after I add the flower. But for the other foliage that we did at the back, that one definitely you need to do it before you do the flower beds on. Okay, so just some final touch up. And if you want to add another leaf, it's a bit tricky to add leaves after you have done putting the flower on. You may try, but just be careful with your petals. Okay, something like this. Maybe another leaf here, a short one. Another one here. One last one. I'm doing opposite direction now so that you can see it. Okay, and that's it for our flower paving part. Yay! So we're done with our cake for today. It's a really fun one to do, and it's like there's lots of room for creativity for this design. Okay, so one is like to play around with colors. Even like just changing the color will give you different effects, or you can even just do the whole thing at same color. For example, I can just do everything in white, including my flowers and all the foliage all in white to create like a bas relief design. It'll be a really cool one as well. Or maybe single color, like I have all my leaves and flowers all in different shades of pink or blue, or different shades of purple or green, you know. But then I have a base color in white, and I have all my flower and foliage in different tones of different shades of color. It'll be very cool as well. Okay, and you can of course elaborate them, just that within this 1 hour, that's the basic that I can show you. You can elaborate them more, like have more of the foliage going down here, amaranthus all around. Flowers can even go further down. Okay, so I really hope you have fun joining me today. And this is the last episode of Edible Art Wonderland Season 1. But don't worry, Season 2 is on its way, so we'll definitely meet again very soon. Meanwhile, you may always check out my Facebook official page or Instagram account for more of my creations. Lastly, I would like to thank everyone tuning in from all around the world. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Nandri, merci beaucoup. Arigatou gozaimasu. Khop ka. 谢谢 and terima kasih. Once again, I'm Vera from Vera Craft, bringing you this Edible Art Wonderland show from the Borneo Island of Malaysia. Till we meet again next time. Ciao. Bye bye.